In this video, we're going to show you to install the windshield washer reservoir on your Ford Focus located under your hood. With the hood open, go ahead and locate the radiator coolant reservoir on the passenger side. There's two 10mm bolts. We're going to loosen and remove these. Now we want to go ahead and remove our expansion tank tube here. We're going to use some hose pliers and twist this off. In most cases, you can just grab that hose and pull it off. Ours is kind of stuck on there a little bit. Now you might lose a little bit of coolant from here, but if you do, it's not going to be enough to make it an issue. With that pulled off, we want to go ahead and remove the tank. Now with the coolant reservoir gone, we can now access the windshield washer reservoir. And there's a 10mm bolt right here we need to loosen and remove. I'm going to use my deep socket and my ratchet to loosen and remove that bolt. Save that. We're going to be reusing that later. Using our 19mm socket, we're going to loosen and remove the lug nuts. Grab that wheel, remove it, and set it aside. Now with the wheel removed, it's going to give us better access to the screw on the splash shield. Now we want to go ahead and remove the lower splash shield here. We're going to start by removing the 7mm screw right inside the wheel well area. There's one here on the passenger side and one on the driver's side. I'm going to go ahead and use my 7mm ratchet or socket with my ratchet. In some cases you can use power tools to do something like this here, but because they are small and if they're rusty, you risk breaking them, so it's best to do them by hand. All right, remove this one here and repeat for the driver's side. Now on the lower front portion of the bumper, there's going to be a series of these 7mm screws running right across the front. I want to go ahead and loosen and remove all of these. All right, let's go ahead and remove the rest across the front. Now with all 8 of those screws removed, right across the center section, there's normally 3 plastic push pins right here. We're missing 2, but we have one here. We're going to show you how to get that out. Use your trim tool, and you want to pop out that center section. And once you get that out, you can remove the base. Now you want to repeat this process for the other 2. With all the hardware removed, we can go ahead and remove our splash shield. And we're going to use our trim tool and want to go ahead and loosen and remove these 2 buttons. Now there's going to be one here. There's normally one up above, but ours is missing. But what you want to do is get underneath the top here, pop that out, and pop out the other one. That's going to allow you to go ahead and pull out the fender liner to gain better access to the hardware up above. Now right up inside the wheel well area here, or in front of the wheel well, I'm going to locate the reservoir, and you can see we have a bunch of fluid in this here. So what we're going to do is we do need to disconnect the hose right here where the fluid goes up to the washer itself. Then we have a 10mm bolt right here, and then there's going to be 2 on the other side we need to remove. Now before you pull this hose off, it's best if you grab like a cap, a rubber cap or something like that to go ahead and keep that fluid from coming out. We want to try and salvage that fluid. Now there's a little black clip right here. If you run your finger around it, you're going to feel an opening. It's going to feel like a slot. And what we need to do is kind of rotate this clip. You can rotate it to a certain point, and on the side of the clip, there's going to be a little tab. You'll be able to go ahead and release this. So we're going to pop this off quickly and try and get this cap on. Like so. Just wipe this up a little bit. Our next step is to go ahead and loosen and remove the 2 bolts here and here with our 10mm socket. Use our deep 10mm socket to get up to this bolt here. All right, save that bolt. We'll be reusing that. Now keep in mind, when we do go to remove the bolt on this side here, the whole reservoir is going to be loose, so you want to be careful not to drop that. Let's go ahead and loosen and remove this lower nut here. Then we're going to put on an extension and go for that upper bolt up there. Now right up on the side here, we have the pump motor itself, and on the top is an electrical connector. We need to push in on this top tab right here and pull this up and off. Let's go ahead and grab the reservoir. We're going to pull it off of the stud here on the side. And then let's try and work this down and out. Now as we start to lower this down, we have to kind of reach up top and maneuver our neck for the tank around. And you're just kind of rotating that tank to pop that down and out. Now we have the tab for the mounting bolt caught on one of the AC lines, so you just kind of have to maneuver this around to clear some of the components up in that wheel well area. Here we go. Let's go ahead and feed our new reservoir up into position. I'm going to go between the rail and our AC line there. And then we're going to reach up into the engine compartment here. And we have to move some of these lines out of the way a little bit and push this up and in. And just like when we removed, we have to rotate the reservoir around. Now right here we have our fill-in neck. We need to show you how this is run because it can be very complicated. So it runs down, it's behind this AC line, and it's also behind this AC line here. So you're going to have to feed it up underneath, and it comes up in the back side here, and you have to twist the reservoir as you feed it up to get it to come up and into position. All right, now that we have that up in place, we can go ahead and start to attach our bolts and our hardware. Now we're going to go ahead and get our upper bolt started here. We're not going to tighten it. We want to have some mobility down underneath to get the rest of the hardware installed. But we're going to go ahead and get this bolt started in. I'm going to probably thread it in about halfway. Now we have the reservoir on the stud right here. It just kind of falls into place once you get it lined up top. Want to get that nut started on that stud. Now there's really no adjustments on this here. Once it's on the stud, it's on the stud. But we're going to go ahead and feed our other bolt up into the top. All right, we get that one started. And then we have our last bolt on the right-hand side over on this side here we need to get to. So we're going to get that one started. We're going to come back and tighten everything down. Let's go ahead and install our forward bolt here. We're going to get that started. Now that we have all of our hardware started, we can just go ahead and start to snug everything down. Now I'm just using my stubby ratchet here to go ahead and snug this down. Once that bottoms out, just snug it just a little bit more. You're just holding a plastic tank in place. It's not going to require a lot of pressure. Let's go ahead and tighten down the rest. All right, these are all snug. Now up top, we're going to go ahead and snug down our last bolt here. Let's go ahead and install our coolant reservoir. Install this little tab on the motor mount stud as we lower it down into position. And then install the two bolts on the top. Once we get these started, we're going to go ahead and snug them down. And we'll tighten this down. You just want to make it gently snug. Don't want to over tighten it as you can crack the tank. Now we can go ahead and install our hose. Just line that up and wiggle that on a position. Let's go ahead and line up our hose here, push it on. And once it's in position, we're going to go ahead and turn our clip clockwise to lock it on, and then press the hose into that retainer. Go ahead, hook up the electrical connector to the pump, push it down. You can hear it and feel it lock on. We're going to go ahead and pop that fender liner down into place. Install your plastic push pin button. Now if you have the second one up top, go ahead and pop that in now. Install a splash shield. Line up our mounting tabs and get our screws started. We're just going to continue this process all the way around the front and to the other side. Once they're all installed, we're going to come back and snug them all down. Now let's go ahead and snug everything down. And just want to snug these down gently. And just repeat this process right across. Now that we have all of our screws installed, we want to go ahead and install our 3 plastic push pins. Press that in, lock it in, and we're going to repeat this process for the other 2. Grab the wheel. Good, line up the wheel studs. Let's go ahead and install the lug nuts. Ideally, you want to get all these started by hand first. Then we'll go ahead and snug them down. When tightening these down, you want to go ahead and do it in a crisscross pattern. Now let's go ahead and torque down our lug nuts to 94 foot-pounds. Prefer to do this in a crisscross pattern. Let's go ahead and fill up our reservoir, and once we're done here, you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.